Well, it's the end of the month, and you know what that means. Time to revisit yet another Star Wars movie in our ongoing effort to revisit every single movie in reverse history order.
And because this October has inadvertently become Jack-themed month with jackets, jack-o'-lanterns, and Jackbox, we this week are reviewing the most jacked-up Star Wars movie, in our opinion, Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker.
How Star Wars is it?
Well, hello there, Mike.
Hi, Josiah. And hello, listeners.
And hello, listeners. Welcome to the show. This is How Star Wars Is It. This is the only podcast. And what do? We rate things on a scale of 1 to 10, not of how good they are, how bad they are, but of how Star Wars they are.
Yes. Imagine taking all things Star Wars, books, movies. I don't know why we always start with books. Movies, books,
we've never done
the
them.
TV series, the Legos, whatever. All things that have the name Star Wars in their title. You put them all into a pot. You put the pot on the burner. You make Star Wars chili. It's just the platonic ideal of Star Wars. That chili, my dear sweeties, is a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, and we compare everything to that. Mike, I do want to say right off the top here that we did not get any nominations for iHeartMedia's podcast awards. So we were not up for Podcast of the Year, which seems crazy. Not up for Best Comedy Podcast. I feel like that might have been where we could sneak in. We didn't get Best Crime Podcast, but that makes sense.
Yeah.
Best Music Podcast also makes sense. We didn't get that. Best News. I mean, we could have got Best News, maybe. Not Best Overall Host. Nothing. We got nothing. So I just wanted everyone to know that we have once again been blocked out of these
Academy
awards. Yeah, thanks a lot. Oh, wait. New podcast to watch? No, we're not in there either. Yeah. We're old.
But this
Sorry,
week
I just wanted to say
we
that.
are we're continuing the tradition of this year where we are revisiting all the Star Wars movies because it took us something like 2 years to review every Star Wars movie, and we realized after looking at all 9 of them, or all 11 of them, I suppose, that we may have given some the short shrift and some we, whatever. So we're giving the definitive ranking, and this week we're talking about Rise of Skywalker. Josiah and I both just watched this together on a couple days ago, 2 days ago today, as we did our live
commentary,
2 and change long hour commentary track for our Patreon that you can go listen to every month. We do a commentary track of a Star Wars movie. Patreon.com/How Star Wars Is It.
So this is interesting, right? Because we've been revisiting everything. We've been giving things new ratings, and we've been giving things new ratings after the fact as we review other things. So currently, the lowest we have right now is Last Jedi at an 8.
An 8. Solid 8 out of 10. That's a really high score for our meter.
Yes, but when we did Rise of Skywalker originally, we gave it a 6, which is funny because it is a Star Wars movie.
Right, yeah, that feels too low.
Yeah, so it and Rogue One and Solo were the bottom of the barrel as like 6s ish. So it feels too low. We're here today to rectify that, to reset the scale. Now, here's the question. Is it more, I mean, we'll get into this. Is it more Star Wars than Last Jedi? But we'll get into this as we go. Neither of us had seen this movie since it came out when we watched it 2 days ago, which was interesting.
Yeah, we talked in the Jackbox episode about how we were excited to rewatch it, and I am 180 degrees different having done so. Like, it's just I'm such a fucking mess.
I'm the opposite of excited that we did watch it.
Yeah,
it's like I'm disappointed that we watched it.
Yeah, I think it reads like, I know we've said this, we probably said it on the original episode, and we certainly did on the commentary, but it plays like a video game. And like a really good video game, you might say like, oh yeah, I love the mechanic or the action of it, and I love the story. The ceiling for story in a video game is like you're still playing a video game. Like a good movie is always going to be a better story than a good video game, I think. But like this, if this were a like high budget video game that was like, the last movie was The Last Jedi, and you get to play as like Rey, Finn, and Poe in like their next adventure, and this was a game, I'd be like, that was a pretty fun game. Had to get a goober so that I could get another goober.
It would definitely be a fun game. It wouldn't like win any awards necessarily. Not any iHeartMedia awards for sure.
Right.
The like, I know what you mean, because like it's obviously apples and oranges, but like video games are a different medium of storytelling. But like even when you're literally looking at the story, because parts of like video games are the mechanics, that are the graphics, are the, you know, combat systems or whatever. Like after I finished the Spider-Man on PlayStation 4 game, that one, I remember saying like, this is the best Spider-Man movie that I've ever seen.
Right.
Which, or like I think I said second or third best or something, and then I think after that or right before that maybe Spider-Verse came out, so I had to like change it to be like, okay, it's the second best Spider-Man movie I've ever seen. But even then, like the Spider-Man story being told in that game is like more competently told than most Spider-Man movies we've got, but also there's whole stretches of it where you're just like running around getting stuff, you know what I mean? Like that's not exciting in a story, but that's like we forget about that part. And that's the thing with this movie, is there's a lot of getting the
like
geocaching,
like geocaching,
and there's not a lot of the meat that you get in between. Because like,
can I just say Spider-Verse giving us the word goober, because like MacGuffin is the other one that sort of like means the same thing, but like that sounds like a person's name, and it seems like weird and like I don't know, like hoity-toity,
old-timey.
Whereas goober is like, it sounds like an object. It sounds like a small object that you can hold in your hand, which oftentimes is what like the goober is. And if you're not familiar with the term that we're using, it's like the thing you got to go get that makes adventure happen. Like you could say the One Ring of Sauron is a goober.
Is the goober,
because it like spurs on 3 books and 3 movies of, you know, adventure.
Yeah, it's the thing. Yeah, it's the go get this so that you can do this, so that you can do this, so that you can do this, and then oftentimes in a good,
which is often what video games are.
So like the
like
the
you
Death
need to
Star,
get the 6 bleep blorps to unlock the realm of Jabla, and like then you play for a long time trying to find those 6 bleep blorps.
And like in original Star Wars, like you could argue maybe that the Death Star plans are the goober at least for the first half of the movie, right? Not that anyone's trying to get them, aside from, you know, they're trying to get them back, like the Empire or whatever, but they are the plot forwarding device, and that we have to get them to the rebellion so that the story can happen. And I started keeping track, and then I stopped because I got distracted / bored. But there are like the like sort of chain reaction of goobers in this movie are truly mind-boggling. Because like, and I couldn't like remember, like right out the gate, I was like, why did we need to see that weird alien who had the fun head who was voiced by Mark Hamill? Right. And like, how did we get to Lando? Like, who told us about Lando?
Yeah, the guy, like, Mark Hamill alien guy was like, there's a spy in the First Order, and he got information to this guy. It's like, the first thing you're having us watch is 2 goobers. We are already 2 parts removed from the actual plot. It's like one guy told this guy something, now this guy has to tell us something. And then I truly don't remember if that's how they find to go to that one planet where the color run is happening. Because then we find Lando. So like, and also from the very beginning, we have to find the Sith Wayfinder. So the Sith Wayfinder is the big goober, but to get there, we got to go Bulio to Lando to Ochi, Ochi to his ship. His ship is broken. We luckily fall into a sinking field to find his dagger. Yeah, thank God we fell into it.
The dagger gets stolen. We have to go get the dagger from the ship. We have to then
Chewie.
First, yes, we've killed Chewie. We have to go to Babu Frick to translate
3PO
it.
can read it but not repeat it because it's like saying fuck, shit, cock.
Yeah. We have to get the First Order medallion from the Power Rangers so we can get into the ship or whatever. Right. And then I think then we have to go to the planet where the horses are to look at the dagger at the right spot to see that it's on
To get the final goober, which then when she gets Kylo Ren
is
breaks
immediately yes, and we just end up taking his goober anyway. So that's about 10 steps of go from we need this one thing.
It's like a Rube Goldberg machine that ends with instead of like making you breakfast or like fireworks or something, it ends with just like your dishwasher like opening and all the water coming out and ruining your floor.
Just like, oh, I gotta call the landlord. No, this sucks. Why did I hook it up to the water main?
Yeah, like why did I make the last step turn on dishwasher and open the door?
And listeners, once again, we've said this before. If you like this movie, you're not going to enjoy this episode because we don't like this movie. But like, I think there are plots that have similar things where it's like this thing, then this thing, then this thing. You know, going from like a video gamey fetch questy kind of thing. I mean, like you said, Lord of the Rings. You could argue that everything in Lord of the Rings is like all these little, you know, sort of video game quests. Like, okay, we have to get the hobbits out of the Shire. We have to get them to Rivendell. We have to get from here to here.
Rohondo.
Yes. And so you could make that argument as well. I think the reason why it works sometimes and it doesn't work here is that the times it does work, you have like a world and characters that support your interest whenever the plot gets too plotty.
Right.
And also, there's like enough characters in Lord of the Rings to share the load between all of that stuff.
Share the load.
Share the load. And this, you have these like 3 people and these 3,000 droids because we have to add another fucking droid.
Right.
I hate Dio. He sucks. I'm mad at him. And then like, but they have to do all of it. So it's like you have to, which is nicer together for the movie because we get to see like their, you know, back and forth. But they do all of it. So it's like literally we're following them the whole time, like place to place to place to place. And there's no reprieve. There's no like...
Yeah, and then in the scenes that it isn't just them like doing quests, there's the kind of weird stilted scenes with Leia, who Carrie Fisher died like a year or 2 prior. And then there's like the weird scenes where like Rose is sidelined and has an equal amount of dialogue to Charlie from Lost, playing the character of Charlie from Lost.
Yeah. We talked about this in the commentary, which like... We'll talk about it. We can talk about it here too. I mean, obviously, we talk about a lot of stuff in the commentary. Go listen to it if you want. But like, this movie was set up for failure because there was. I mean, we even were like thinking during the commentary, like, how could they have pulled this off in a way that felt good,
right?
With not having Carrie Fisher in the movie, and there's really not a good way to do it. Like, it would have felt bad no matter what. They just sort of were unlucky in that they chose maybe the worst way to do it because it felt worse,
right?
Than it could have.
You bring up something that I wrote down notes for a few weeks ago when I remembered that we were going to do an episode on this. This isn't really the game, but I think it would be fun, and maybe it'll just turn into the game or something. But I was thinking, like, what if we rewrote the movie from scratch? So, like, this, we're not going to do that. That's going to take too long. But I think the first place I would start if I were tasked with writing this movie is to watch 7 and 8, and then... say, okay, what balls are still in the air?
Yeah.
Because, like, we just need to provide a soft place for them all to land.
Yes.
And so from 7, I wrote, Maz has Luke's lightsaber from Bespin and looks in the camera and says, I'll tell you this story later.
Yeah.
The whole government is gone. You know, like, they blow up those main planets, and maybe we could, like, have that reiterated to us because, like, that was somewhat unclear. And the Knights of Ren are named but never really seen in Force Awakens. And then in The Last Jedi, we find at the end, Kylo Ren is now the supreme leader and has fully gone bad. You know, he and Rey have that whole scene where they're struggling with one another, and then he has the scene with Force projection Luke, and like really doubles down to like, I'm the bad guy.
Right.
Hux is a little bitch, I wrote.
Yeah.
The entire like he goes from being like in a position of power to being like a little Nancy in a position of power. Like, he's really prissy about it, which I think is funny, and he could have like been one step further that direction. The entire resistance is aboard the Millennium Falcon. Like, cool. Right. It's really small. Rose and Finn maybe have something going on, but she's like unconscious at the end of that movie. Mm-hmm. Rey is like, okay, I'm fully a Jedi, but Luke said that the Jedi are vain and proud, so maybe I should be something new. Like, she could be struggling with like not ever having had a place and now finally having a place, but being like, but the Jedi aren't supposed to still be around.
Right.
Rey and Kylo's minds are linked by Snoke. He says that, like, it was I who linked your minds, so maybe that doesn't work anymore. And Poe is a leader now. He's fully gone to, like, selfless leader. Finn is learning what that means, so maybe like Finn, Poe, and Rose are the trio learning that stuff, while Rey and Kylo can do their things. Those are just some of the like stray thoughts I wrote down. That it's like, why are we answering the questions of, did Poe ever have like a sordid past with Carrie Russell? Like
the thing that I kept saying in the commentary was that like in this movie we get so many payoffs for which there are no setup in the previous two movies, and all the payoffs we get are set up 5 minutes before, and they immediately pay them off.
Yes,
and they never let us sit in any kind of like uncertainty. Like even whenever like we killed Chewie, immediately scene after we get a scene saying that he's not really dead.
Yeah,
and then I was telling Mike, like I was saying to Mike, like the next scene after that is the crew on the Falcon being like, Chewie's dead. Oh no, we have to go save him. And I'm like, why didn't they just switch the order of those two? Because then we could at least be worried with
the
them
characters, to
be like, oh yeah,
you
this
dumbass,
sucks.
he's alive.
Right. And also like, it's also just the most, what did you say? You said it's the most like the murderer was me.
Yeah, I mean, it's moment. Like this movie is full of Linda Belcher saying the murderer was me.
Because it's like, oh, what a twist. He was on a different transport. It's like, you only showed us one transport.
It's like
you
doing
can't
the
make
shell
that a twist.
game, but with only one shell, and then be like, where's the ball? And then you like point to it and like, they go, no, actually it's under a shell on a different table. And it's like, but that...
Yeah. That wasn't part of the game.
I wasn't able to even like pretend to like have an idea.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, it's all payoffs with no setup, and like when you like all the things you just listed, like there's some interesting setups here, right?
Yeah.
Like fully evil Kylo Ren having all the resistance on one ship, even the little story stuff of like Maz where she get the lightsaber, and the little story stuff of the Knights of Ren. Like there's little things that could be fun to explore,
right?
But then there's also like big plot stuff. Like Rose and Finn,
right.
You know, like
if we were gonna get like lore, like little micro details, why are we getting like this weird Sith holocron Death Star shit and the knife, as opposed to answering questions that you yourself posed, J.J. Abrams?
Yeah, the stuff
that's a story for another time. Like
it's so strange because it's
do we have another one after this? I don't think so.
What better time to do it than the last movie?
Yeah,
you know, it's. He loves his little puzzle boxes, and like it's like he forgot about the ones that he set up.
Yeah.
And I kept saying this in the commentary too, but like every 5 minutes it feels like it feels like it was made by a different JJ. Where like there's one JJ who saw episode 7 and 8 and is sort of trying to finish that story, and there's another JJ who didn't see either movie, forgot the movie that he wrote for the first one, and is just kind of like tossing shit out there of like, maybe this will do this.
Yeah.
And it's so like inconsistent in how it handles like just the last two movies.
It feels like the thing when like you're babysitting like a 3-year-old, or perhaps you have a 3-year-old, I don't know. And they have like a whole bucket full of toys, and you're playing with them on the floor with toys. And then you say, okay, we only have about 10 minutes left. So let's, you know, you can keep playing, but we have to go in 10 minutes. And then instead of like playing with the toy that's in their hand, or starting to clean up the toys, they're like, what about these other toys that are still in the bucket? And it's like, I told you we only have 10 minutes. Don't
get out anything new because we don't have time. You're not gonna have fun with it. And that's like that's I think one of the biggest issues of this movie. And I know some people like it, which is I don't know how they do.
It is sort of like confounding to me too. I don't want to like begrudge someone for liking a movie that's like such a fucking like Star Wars guy thing to do, but like it is funny to me that someone like this is someone's favorite movie. We were talking about a show earlier before we started recording, and Caitlin says like we've seen a couple shows together where we're like musicals where we're like, boy oh boy, like why does that show even exist? And her thing that she'll say is, it's crazy to me, but that show is probably someone's favorite musical.
Yeah. I mean, every Pokemon is someone's favorite Pokemon, you know, like, except for there were 5 that didn't get any votes on Reddit, which was funny.
Oh, so like they literally did a...
Yeah, there was this is just a fun internet thing, everybody.
Even Pseudo-Wudo?
Yeah. Anyway, so I'll look this up while I keep talking. It's strange to me that people like this movie, because I remember when it came out, the people who were like saying to me that they liked it didn't have anything actually good to say about it. Like when I would be like, okay, well, what did you like? They literally couldn't give me an example of what was good. And then when I would tell them what I didn't like, they would say, oh yeah, that's true. Oh yeah, that's true.
Right.
Like they were agreeing with the things that I said were bad, but not giving me anything that was good.
Well, and then it like it's funny because then you feel almost like an asshole for sort of winning an argument, you know, like I don't know, I don't like any of those things. You're right, but I still like the movie, and it's like you absolutely can. I even feel bad like railing on it this hard, but like
I know I kind of do too because I know some people like it, but like my biggest issue with it is that like this movie is not fun to me. Like I don't know how I don't know. I
found it very like trying.
Yeah, it's not like. It is like the worst parts of Star Wars in that it gives you weird words and weird like lore to try to catch up with that doesn't make much sense, like and then doesn't let you really have much time to like have fun with these cool characters or really cool fight scenes or interesting like dynamics. Anyway,
speaking of all this sort of like new stuff that they cram in, I also wrote down some notes of the final movie in every trilogy. What new toys did they open before then having to put them all away? Return of the Jedi, the whole first scene you could say is like useless and unnecessary, but it is like all very fun and swashbuckling. But Bib Fortuna, Jabba, all the Jabba background people, which Star Wars does really well. Background people who they never even linger on, but you know they all have names. Like, fun.
Yeah.
Then the Emperor is sort of introduced for the first time. Like, we saw him on a hologram, though, prior.
Right.
And then the only other people I have as new are like all rebel people. Mon Mothma, Admiral Akbar, Nine Numb, who like doesn't have any dialogue, and then the Ewoks.
Yeah.
That we spend time with all of those characters, and
I think
they're all, you know, opened and closed.
I think even with those though, like you could make the argument that like the Emperor isn't entirely new because he's been set up. Even Jabba isn't entirely new because we've
been mentioned,
right? And he is the direct like. We have to finish up little Han's. Yes, we have to finish up Han's like story of being frozen or whatever. Yes. So like, I think you could even and like even the rebellion with Mon Mothma, like we know the rebellion exists.
Sure, right.
So I think like the only one that's wholly new, I would argue, is the Ewoks.
Like Ewoks, right?
And maybe like I don't know. There's probably other things that like smaller things that were like
and then
Boba
in Revenge
Fett
of the Sith, I have General Grievous, who's like introduces like the new bad guy. Even though of course he's actually kind of technically not new either because he was in the Tartakovsky series. And his little guards, which again are like background characters. There's some new Jedi, but they're like background. The Wookiees are the Ewoks of that movie. And again, like they're not new, like their species is not new, but like having a battle take place on Kashyyyk was like a kind of a new thing. And then just background guys on like different planets who are like hardly have any lines. Like the guy who's like, we have no war here.
You know what's interesting about the prequels is and like with that one specifically, it feels like we have so much knowledge outside of the movies with just the built-in like expanded universe of Star Wars that a lot of that stuff doesn't feel new, right? Because we know Kashyyyk exists, right? And so when we go to Kashyyyk, and there's something about the prequels too that feels, since it's so kind of like globe hoppy from one place to another, like it doesn't feel out of place
to have more like kind of wacky.
Yeah, so I think maybe Grievous is like the only kind of wholly new toy that we deal with.
And then I wrote down for Rise of Skywalker, new people and things introduced. Finn's girlfriend, Poe's girlfriend, Babu Frick, Palpatine to some degree. Of course, he's not new. He's been in like 6 of the movies or whatever by now, but
new to this trilogy.
To the sequel trilogy. Charlie from Lost, who has like, again, like some of the most dialogue of background characters in the whole movie. The Empire guy who isn't the spy, the Richard E. Grant officer.
The new one.
Yeah. Background guys on Exegol, like all those like the people doing the wave in the stands.
Yeah.
Lando, again, kind of like he's not a new character, but he's new to this trilogy. Ochi, who is like somehow like one of the most important people in the galaxy, as this movie might have you believe. Dio, the little puppy robot. And then the Knights of Ren, who like, again, they are mentioned prior to this, but like we finally see them in this, and then even then it's like it's sort of the Boba Fett thing of like, wow, cool, oh, they're gone.
They're gone. Yeah, just so everyone knows, the only 4 Pokemon that didn't get a vote were Silcoon, Gothita, Electric, and Yungoos. So,
They've all been
sorry if you
executed.
like those. So yeah, they've been killed. Silcoon is like an in-between bug to butterfly, like cocoon evolution. Gothita is a little like psychic goth, like first evolution, and she looks kind of weird. Electric is a middle evolution of a cool electric fish Pokemon into an eel Pokemon, and Yungoos is just like a little ferret or something. So no one likes those, I guess. Anyway, no, yeah, there's so many new toys in this movie, and once again, they are all shown to you, and then after 5 or 10 minutes, taken away.
Yes.
Like, it's like, here's Lando, he's gone.
Right.
And like he comes back later, I guess. Like, here's the Color Run planet and the, like, you know, freaking quicksand and all that stuff. Everything is so quick.
The first resistance sequence is like the thesis for this movie. When they light speed jump between like 4 or 5 different planets for 1 second at a time. Like, that's like what this movie feels like.
And I also thought that was the beginning of the movie, and I forgot that the beginning of the movie is actually following Kylo Ren just like wordlessly
the dead speak
killing some like random people on a planet,
right,
and then going to find Palpatine, which is like from the get-go is so tiring. And I don't know, maybe that's part of the reason why people do like this movie, is because I feel like I could see the world in which it is fun to see a familiar character from the old series being like, oh, cool, he was behind the whole thing. And I understand that being like a fun sort of thing to experience. But then the only thing I don't like about it is it wasn't set up at all in the first 2. Like, that's the annoying thing. It's frustrating. It's like this is a payoff, once again, without a setup.
Now, here's a question that I think we'll probably struggle with for the next 2 or 3 minutes, and then like the latter half of the episode. Is this movie very, very, very Star Wars, or like not? Like we said, it has all these things. It has a Palpatine and a Death Star, which are 2 like tried and true. You know, it even has like the Imperial March. Like, it has like music that has no business being in it. It has Yoda's theme when Force Ghost Luke lifts the X-Wing out of the water.
Yeah, I mean, this is tricky, right? Because it is. I mean, it's very Star Wars. But the other day we said something else a while ago. Like, there are more bad Star Wars movies than there are good ones, right? So
you know what else is very Star Wars is bad fans.
Yeah. Fans
acting in bad faith. And this movie is like reacting directly to some of that. At least it would seem.
It is. This movie was like one of the biggest reasons I didn't like it, because it seemed like it was playing directly to the lowest common denominator of like shitty fans who bullied Kelly Marie Tran off of Twitter and were like, you know, saying that like it was too diverse, or like they were like being too woke or whatever.
Right.
And then, but weirdly, I don't know if those same fans liked Rise of Skywalker or if they didn't like it. Like, I think this movie is particular in a way that I feel like it didn't please really much of anybody.
Yeah.
Because like people who liked Last Jedi didn't like this movie in general. People who didn't like Last Jedi maybe might like this movie, but I feel like if they weren't a fan of the sequel trilogy in general, like you probably still wouldn't be a fan of this.
Yeah.
And those
funny,
same like
everything I think about this movie as like a thing that stands out for not liking it, I do realize that if I were to say Palpatine coming back from the dead, that doesn't feel Star Wars, that's not really fair, because like Darth Maul comes back from the dead, and there's ghosts, there's characters who literally are like the incarnate of coming back from the dead. Like, you know, like I feel like if you held this under the How Star Wars Is at microscope and you pointed to any one thing as being like, this is not Star Wars, J.J. Abrams could be like, you're high. Like, I took this straight from Star Wars. I just did it bad.
Yeah, I think you're right. But it is also strange because it feels like...
It's like Harry Potter to me.
Yeah. You said something, I think on the commentary maybe, of like the
Sith throne?
Yes, well, that too, but the EU, the like Legends storyline of like the clones of, you know, Palpatine.
Yes.
and that now like everyone has to, whenever they were writing books, it's like we all have to,
Right.
sort of come to terms with the fact that that's
anytime
a part
book
of the
came out, a
universe.
new author couldn't be like, actually, that didn't happen.
That didn't happen.
Yeah.
And so I think that like, yes, people will come back to life in Star Wars, but not always in the movies. You know what I mean? Like there are it's normally like Darth Maul comes back in in the cartoon,
sure.
or like they are resurrected over in some book or something, and it's like legends. And so I think that's why it feels bad as a movie. But I think you're right in that it is very Star Wars. Like they bring back all the good music.
Right.
There is sneaking around.
And there's
there is lasers.
Actually, I didn't tell you your whole story. You're actually a Palpatine. Yeah. That, again, as a sentence, as like written prose, is like, wow, that is sort of Star Wars. Something we thought we knew, and then we find out that's not true, and then you get that Obi-Wan Kenobi from a certain point of view kind of thing. But the problem with that one yes, that is Star Wars, so that gets it points from us, I suppose. But the problem with it is we already got that thing for Rey last movie. We got the reveal that she's not special.
This, how like Rian Johnson said, like he was getting to make a Star Wars movie, so he was just gonna like throw everything that he could that he wanted to do. It feels like JJ forgot that he had already made a Star Wars movie and was like, I gotta just really do everything I can on this one, because you could even still make the argument that this like remakes like A New Hope and Return of the Jedi to an extent, because it's the same shit, right? It's like instead of Death Star plans, we have to get the holocron so we can get to the place, so we can destroy the place. And then once we're there, there's a ship battle, sky battle going on with all the non-Jedi people. And then on the base, there's the Jedi people and the bad guy having a sort of intense, wordy conversation with lightsabers sometimes.
Right.
Like it's the same, and they even opens up the sky so they can look out, which they do in every one. And there is a shield generator that you have to destroy. Like,
and
then
even in Return of the Jedi, when he's his most mustache twirly self, or I suppose that's also true in like Revenge of the Sith, when he's like, no. But in Return of the Jedi, he's a shitty old man who's being an asshole to like a 20-year-old. Like he's like, oh, I think your friends are not going to make it. And in this, he's like, I am an evil spirit.
Yeah,
and it's like,
in this,
you're
he's
not
like Satan.
interesting as an evil spirit. You're interesting as like a shitty grandpa.
yeah. The reason why the Emperor was fun in any way is because he looked so old and feeble.
Right.
And then he's actually
he can zap you.
Right, and he's super powerful. So you're like, oh, and like in this, when he's like a ghost being like pulled around by a machine everywhere.
Yeah.
It's so not compelling, and it's so not the reason why anybody found the Emperor to be compelling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then also, I mean, having another bad guy be behind the actual bad guy that we thought was the bad guy the whole time.
Yeah.
That is Emperor and Darth Vader, you know?
It's just such a big ask. Like that Palpatine somehow managed to control every action that happened in the entire prequel trilogy is like, boy, oh boy, he must have had like binders of contingency plans. And in this, it's like, nope. I bought it all the way through. He managed to be the commander of two different armies that were fighting each other, which is like a pretty big ask of me. But you're telling me that you built a time machine out of an emperor? I don't know.
Yeah, it is all.
I'm thinking it ends up being a higher score than Last Jedi, which makes me fucking mad.
I was gonna say the same thing. I think we gave it a low score because we were mad that it sucked so much.
Yeah.
But like, once again, let's go through the list of like. I mean, even if we were not worried about good or bad, but if we were putting things in like a good or bad like binary,
right?
We got Return of the Jedi. Not really a good movie, you know, like that. I would maybe we'll put that in the middle, you know.
Yeah.
We'll say like there's good, there's bad, and there's neutral.
That would be one where it's like, okay, if we have anybody drop out and we need to fill their seat at the wedding.
Yeah. Then we have Phantom Menace. It's kind of a bad movie.
Yeah.
It's not like great. We got New Hope. That's a good movie.
Yep.
We got Revenge of the Sith. I mean, I think even after our last episode on it, we were like, people like to say that it's the best of the prequels, but it's still not like a very good movie. It's just like, at least it finishes the story. Empire's a good movie. Attack of the Clones is like categorically a bad movie. Force Awakens, I think, is probably in that sort of middle area where it's just like, it's fine. Last Jedi is, I think, good.
Yeah.
Then we have Rise of Skywalker.
Bad.
Bad. And we have Rogue One, which
I don't think is a wholly bad movie. I think they made some sort of like wonky choices.
I think I'll put it in the middle because I feel like it doesn't really, fit. And then Solo, which is bad.
Yeah. Probably. I don't remember it.
It's bad. So we have like 3 movies in the good category, 3 movies in the neutral category, and 5 movies in the bad category.
Yeah.
And that's all of them, right? It's 11, yeah.
Yeah.
So like that's even if you're weighting it not like 3 good movies versus 5 bad movies and 3 in the middle, you know what I mean? Like,
what's our next movie up from the 8 that Last Jedi got?
The Last Jedi had an 8. Force Awakens got an 8.125, 8 and an 8th. Attack of the Clones got 8 and a quarter, and Empire has 8.5.
I think this movie falls under all prequels.
Yes, I was gonna say it maybe feels a little more. I think it comes between Last Jedi and Force Awakens somehow. You know what I mean? Or maybe a little bit more than Force Awakens, because like Force Awakens was just doing a very straightforward remix, and this has a much more messy, quintessentially Star Wars take on a lot of things. I don't know. Yeah,
we'll have to come back to that when we come back from the break.
Should we go to the break?
Yeah, let's jump on into the Sarlacc pit.
Woo!
Woohoo! And we're Jack.
The Robin Williams movie that makes me cry.
All right, we're back. This is we're gonna play a game. We're gonna do the game I made up a while back, the Star Wars Minute game. I'm going to name something that happens in all the 9 Skywalker Star Wars movies, and then you have to tell me what minute of that movie it happens in. We're using the Disney Plus versions, and minute number 1 goes from 000 to 0 and 59 seconds. So if it happens at 1:13, that's minute 2.
Yes.
If you get the number right on, you get 5 points. If you're within 5 minutes of either direction of the number that is correct, you get 4. 10 minutes away, you get 3. 15 to 21. You have a choice to make.
Yay.
Do you want the first appearance moments, the dismemberment moments, or the music moments, which I don't think we've done, but I think we did do the special edition moments, didn't we?
We did do special edition moments, yeah. I think I want to do first appearance moments.
First appearance moments. Perfect. So these are the first times we see each of these characters on film per chronological, not chronological, like release to the public.
Yeah.
On the Earth calendar. The first movie is Episode 4, A New Hope, which has a 124-minute runtime. This is the first appearance of Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Oh, okay. It's whenever he's like,
yes, I have written down roar.
Yeah.
Which they've changed that sound like a dozen times.
Where is that? That's not super. It's not like right away because I have to get to Tatooine first. I'm gonna say it's maybe like 34.
It's 30.
Nice. I was just gonna say 30. I should have stuck with my gut.
Yeah, you get 4 points for that one. Yeah, that movie is like so well chopped up. It's like exactly 2 hours. At the halfway point, Alderaan is exploded, and we have to make a decision of how to help or whatever. Halfway before that, we meet the guy. Okay. In Empire Strikes Back, which is 127 minutes long, we are introduced to a new character for the first time named Yoder. What is the minute of the first appearance of Yoda? Again, 127-minute long movie.
Oh, that's going to be like... I want to say
sort of like the same character in this movie as Obi-Wan was in the last one. When do we meet the wise old man?
I wonder if it's the same like minute mark. I want to say it's later. I'm going to say like 45.
Holy cow, it's 48.
Yeah.
Nice. That's another 4-pointer.
We're getting really good at this.
Yeah, right. They have a lot more business at the beginning of that movie with the whole battle that takes place on Hoth.
Yeah.
All right, this next one is the first appearance per theatrical release of Jabba the Hutt.
Okay, great.
And the movie is Return of the Jedi, and it lasts 134 minutes.
That's pretty early, too, because that's that first little chunk. I think, well, do we see him when the droids come in? Yeah, we do. I'm going to say 5.
You get another 4 points because it's 9.
Yeah, okay, all right.
They have the whole business with, like, talking to the robot eye at the door.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, there's, like, the opening crawl.
And they got to talk to, what's-his-face?
Yeah, Bib Fortuna.
Mm-hmm.
Which is what you wear if you're eating fish and it's really messy.
Yeah, and you're feeling lucky.
So the next movie is The Phantom Menace, 136 minutes long. This is the first appearance of Queen Amidala.
Ooh.
And I'll give you a hint. The appearance of her first appearance is through a transmission, like through a hologram.
Oh, okay.
Which
interesting.
is maybe not a hint, but it's interesting.
Ooh, gosh, I'm trying to remember that fucking flick. I don't know, like 20?
8. Minute 8. It was to the Trade Federation, and they're like the first people we really spend any time with. So that was within 15 minutes of the correct answer, so you get 2 points.
No, that's not very good. Guys, my luck's running out.
4, so 12. 14 points for you so far. The next one is Attack of the Clones, which is 142 minutes long. And it is the first appearance of Count Dooku.
Like 75?
Damn, you're doing awesome in this round. It's 77.
Wow.
Really good guess. Another 4 points.
I'm amazing.
Okay, Revenge of the Sith, last prequel, 140 minutes. The first appearance of General Grievous.
Oh, I don't know. Early-ish. Maybe like 25.
It's minute number 9.
Really early.
Yeah, it's like, like he's kind of present when they like go kill Count Dooku and
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
You said 25, so that is technically within 20 minutes of being correct, so you do get 1 point.
Yes.
Force Awakens, 138 minutes. This is the first appearance of Unkar Plutt.
Pretty early. Oh, what's the beginning of that movie? Well, the beginning is Finn.
Who talks first? You talk first? I
talk first. Maybe, let's say like 15.
14!
Yeah!
Man! Yeah, so that's another 4 points. I've lost track of your number, and I kind of don't give a shit.
I'm keeping track.
But I'm sure no one listening cares either.
Yeah.
All right, this next one is The Last Jedi, 152 long minutes. It is the first appearance of the Thala Sea Siren, the big yucky guy with like the boobies that has green milk.
Oh.
So I suppose big yucky female.
Oh, that's funny. Like 30 minutes, maybe?
Yeah, 22.
Okay.
So that's a 3-point guess.
Not bad.
And finally, in The Rise of Skywalker, this is the first appearance of the brand new character, D.O.
Ugh.
Oh, and Rise of Skywalker is 142 minutes long. Boy, is it.
God. I'm going to say like 45 for D.O.
No, on the nose, 45.
Yeah!
Wow, really ended with a bang. 5 points.
I was just about to say that I hadn't gotten anything right on yet, and I did right at the buzzer.
Really nice work.
That is without a doubt my best one yet. I have the last one at my point total written down, which was 21. And that time I got 16, 20, 21, 25, 28. I got 33 that time.
Yeah, you cleaned up.
So
and I love your guess for Rise of Skywalker being dead on because that's the movie we're talking about this week, and because it's just like you could have thrown a dart at a wall that has minutes 1 through 142 because like who fucking knows?
Well, it's like because I think the only reason I got that is because we just watched it because I was like, when do we meet him? And I'm like, oh yeah, he's on what's this Ochi's like ship, and I'm like, when did they get on that ship? It's after the color run. It's before this. Anyway,
That was
I
a
win.
Star Wars minute game.
Woo! I won.
So
really
we still
good.
have like a good chunk of time left to kind of get this thing slotted in. So again, we've sort of made the argument for it that like it is weirdly shamelessly Star Wars.
Yeah.
It's like badly Star Wars. It reminds me of that Visions episode that I've kind of railed on, and it doesn't need to be railed on, but the one called The Twins, that it's just sort of like, what if Star Wars was just different?
Yeah. Oh, I need to watch those.
Like it's all the same, but it's like different people who are essentially like Luke and Vader, and this sort of does that too. It's like, what if it's all the same stuff, but like bad and worse
and weird and sort of pointless. I mean, yeah. I feel like should we talk about something we like for a little bit?
Yeah, maybe let's do that. I mean, I think that's exactly what we did with the first time we did this movie. I think we even like talked about like how we thought it was bullshit, and then we were like, we have to do an episode, and we can't just like be shitty for 60 minutes.
Yeah, because I'm already like, I'm like bringing my own self down by like just my own
so
like
if
mood.
you listen to our old episode and this episode, tell us like what we've repeated ourselves on, and if it's if the Venn diagram is just two circles overlaid exactly upon one another, that's like that rings a bell. That sounds about right.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was word for word, like you, especially some of the things we said. I wouldn't be surprised if you could quote us and it would be like literally word for word. If only we had a wiki that we could look up a transcription of all of our episodes. I don't know. What's been like going on?
I mean,
lately
obviously, Babu Frick is the answer to that.
I mean, Babu Frick's the only good part of this movie. I mean, not the only good part. But he is the highlight.
C-3PO is great throughout.
C-3PO is funny. He's got jokes.
Yeah.
Let's see. Honestly, even my boy BB-8 doesn't have as much fun stuff to do in this movie.
No.
They just have, Babu Frick, C-3PO. What else is good? Adam Driver, I think, does a good job with what he's given. I like I said it when we watched the commentary. I like the passing the lightsaber between like the shared
I go
space.
back and forth, but I do sort of like the escalation and heightening of what was established in 8 of they can talk to each other and see each other's surroundings, even to the point of like he felt the rain. So it's like, okay, the next step of that would be like you can literally have a lightsaber battle where you're in 2 different places. I think that's like a really interesting idea. I feel like that's a concept to explore in a different movie, like a Looper style movie that it's just like a sci-fi movie, or like what was that show on Netflix, Sense8?
Yes, Sense8.
Like it's very Sense8. Like because I watched the first season long ago when it first came out, but like I think the like 8 people across the globe are all like linked to one another, and in like moments of crisis, like if someone's being like beaten or robbed, the person who's like a taekwondo master like takes over their body and gets them out of trouble or whatever. I'm like poorly explaining it.
Is that what that movie's or that show's about? That sounds cool.
It's got like that kind of going on with it. And they don't like know it for the whole first season. Like and again, like I kind of stopped watching it. But
no, I think you're right. That is a
concept is a cool thing to explore. It just feels like a weird thing to have gone like full tilt on. And again, in a movie where it's like we just have to like put the balls on the pillow.
I mean, like you're right. It is a cool idea it's a cool sci-fi idea of like art sharing this like I don't know space somehow because we're like quantum entangled
because
or
you're a dyad.
But then like the other like. I mean, there's stuff that you could do with it that would be interesting that they don't really get to do. But because, like, if you're fighting someone, but they're not actually there, like, you need to be also aware of your surroundings because, like, they can move into places in which, like, you can't. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
because they're not there.
Because I can't go through a wall. And I also need to not, like, get my lightsaber on any of my important, like, system critical equipment.
Or
you know
like
what I mean?
maybe you're standing next to like your friend
Yeah, exactly. Like you need to, and everyone else would be like, "What are you, this guy doing?" And you're like, "I promise, I'm having a really intense lightsaber fight."
That could be a really cool, like dramatic, like tragic thing to see of like someone stabs out their lightsaber, but it doesn't hit the other person because in reality it actually hit their like best friend in the neck or whatever.
Yeah.
They're like, why isn't this going? And then you see their like surroundings snap, and then they realize they stabbed their friend or whatever.
That would be brutal and also good.
Yeah.
We should write movies. We're smart. Those are the only things I like, I think.
Yeah, let's see. What other things?
Mike's looking up in the air. He's saying, He's trying to find anything up there, any kind of inspiration.
I mean, everyone performs well.
Yeah.
Like, the acting is good.
Oh, you know what? Oscar Isaacs, I think, is really funny and charming
just,
in this.
Great, yeah.
Like when they're like, you used to be a spicer, and he's like, used to be a stormtrooper, used to be a scavenger. Like, we can do this all day. That's like, that's funny, you know.
It's an annoying thing, but like he does
a good job with it.
Yeah.
I think everyone does as good as they can with the material. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like Finn gets really like sidelined as far as like having anything important going on.
Yeah.
And John Boyega is still like bringing the heat.
Yeah.
Like,
he's still like, Rey!
He's making you feel like he really cares.
Yeah. About Rey.
Which he didn't have to. He could have just checked out.
But Rose had to stay home and do homework.
Yeah, Rose had to stay home. My mom won't let me.
Sorry, guys. I have to do my homework.
I can't go to the dance. I have a report to finish.
Will you still be out there in like an hour?
God, me. All the time. In high school.
I think it's like somewhat unnecessary, but I do sort of like the like Jedi training course that Rey runs at the beginning.
Yeah, it's fun.
And like she has to like slice down the little like it reminds me of Double Dare where it's like you go through the nose boogers and you have to pull out the flag and you win this.
Yes.
A Yamaha 66 key electronic keyboard.
And that's what she did win at the end. They
did
had
get like a not quite full width piano keyboard.
They had footage of Carrie Fisher handing someone a piano and they had to use it. So
yeah. Oh, you know what I love is Chewie get a medal.
Chewie get a medal. Remember how Maz was there whenever it happened?
They should do a New Hope like insert shot during that whole like big ceremony where it like did you we've talked about it. You've watched the Wet Hot American Summer TV series where it like shows a clip from like deleted scenes from the actual movie, but it's in the like the first day of camp season, which was made like 10, 15 years after the movie.
Yeah.
So it shows all the people in their costumes, but it's actually footage of like young Amy Poehler and young Michael Ian Black. And then it cuts to an insert shot of like the characters who are new to the TV show, but it's like as though they were also there.
They were
like,
there all along. Yes.
And like there should be a little insert shot of Maz Kanata in some like the 90th special edition version of A New Hope. I think that'd be so funny.
And it's just like it's her in the crowd, and it like zooms in on her face, looking like kind of like, huh? And then it zooms in on Chewie's chest and shows that he doesn't have a medal and shows the others do. And then it comes back to her.
Cutie pie didn't get a medal.
And then it goes back to her and she goes, like she's like really like determined.
Yeah. And then we see her like storm out. We see her go like, excuse me.
Yeah,
and like gets out of the aisle that she's in with all the people standing who are all like a matte painting.
And then we follow her for the rest of her life. Until we find
where... Yeah, the movie is fully about to end, and then actually it's just another like 2 or 3 hours of Maz.
Yeah. It's a mini-series. It's a Maz mini-series. Yeah. We really like Lupita Nyong'o really gets to show her range. And we just follow her everywhere she goes. We find out where she got Luke's lightsaber.
Right.
I mean, maybe
she's like, Captain, can I see... did you have any backups of the medals you were going to give?
Yeah, I'd like to hold on to one of them for a long time.
Yeah.
And even though presumably I've met Chewie multiple times, I called him my boyfriend.
Right.
I'm just now giving him the medal at the very end, even though we're friends and I've seen him a bunch.
Yeah.
So why?
Sometime after the like frantic transmission in Last Jedi, where she's like, "Find the red plum bloom" or whatever, like, and she's like shooting guys or whatever. Sometime between that and when they're on like the Lost Island jungle planet with Charlie from Lost. She like managed to get her hands on a medal.
Do you think she just like 3D printed it? Like she remembered she was there, so she remembered what it looked like, and she was like, I don't know, here are the specs. It's like gold, something. I don't know.
Such a crazy thing.
Goofy. It is the most egregious of the. We've seen the movies.
She says, Chewie, here's the medal that they withheld from you in that ceremony. I made it special for you out of Han's dice.
I melted down Han's dice.
Yeah.
And I cast a new medal, and it's her in the Mandalorian armor, like forge lady, like scene being like, ting, ting.
And then when she says the word new metal, Rob Zombie starts playing because that's the name of that genre.
Yeah. This is a good series, I think, actually. This is going to be really good.
It's called Maz.
Maz.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, we've talked enough about things we liked.
Maz answers plot holes.
Yes.
I use quotes around plot holes because that's a thing that like internet shitheads say all the time.
And it's like a sit down sort of like in the actor studio kind of thing where she's in a little chair and she goes, welcome to Maz Answers Plot Holes.
Yeah.
Now you might think, how did this happen? Well, little did you know, I was in every bit of Star Wars the whole time. Let's see a clip. And then it cuts to her at the medal ceremony.
She's on Yavin during the Death Star run, and she's like, go get him!
Yeah. And it's like
it's just like 30 Rock cutaways, basically.
Do you remember in Community when Jack Black comes in for that one episode?
Yes.
And he thinks he's part of the group, and then it cuts up to all this stuff that he's about. He's like, Britta did that, and he's like in the background of everything, reacting to like as the group, and he's like, yeah, we're like friends, and they're like, we have no idea who you are. Yeah. It's that and the Hot American Summer thing with.
And the Phineas and Ferb Star Wars special, where they are like part of the New Hope storyline, but just kind of off screen.
Yes, it's that.
Like Maz canonically is friends with Phineas and Ferb.
Maz canonically, Maz Canada.
Oh boy,
Phineas and Ferb are best friends with Maz. Everyone, when you listen to this episode, just skip to this part that we've been doing for the last like 10 minutes.
Yeah,
I think it'll be the most fun. Oh my god, Little Red is like. Rolling around on the bed like she's trying to scratch something, and it's very funny. Oh god, I gotta get a video. Keep doing it, Red, please. So anyway,
well, I've been doing improv since 9 a.m. today, and my voice is shot. So should we give this thing a score?
Yeah, let's finish up.
Remind me, what is above Last Jedi again?
Last Jedi is an 8. Force Awakens is an 8.125.
Oh, got it. So like this trilogy is all going to live within an 1/8 of a point.
Yeah. Do we want to just like leave everything else as is and just slot it in? Like
I think so, because I'm not going to like lose sleep over the number we give this piece of shit movie.
No. I feel like it's more Star Wars than Last Jedi. I don't even know if I want to like put the effort in to figure out if it's more Star Wars than Force Awakens.
I think Force Awakens is a cleaner movie, and most Star Wars movies, even the ones that are like Attack of the Clones, that's kind of a mess, and for Phantom Menace, that's kind of a mess, you're never not like certain of what the action is.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think this one is slotted in between those.
Where are they going and what do they need?
So do we give it a 16th?
Yeah, I think we give it a 16th, which would be like 0.0625.
Yeah, 8.0625.
Yeah.
Great. So now the definitive rank, great.
And the unit of measure is like fucking, I don't know, like the fucking little kids on that planet where they do the color run.
The cute babies that are puppets, they're like, woo.
Yeah.
The definitive ranking currently from top to bottom: Return of the Jedi is a 10, Phantom Menace 9.25, New Hope a 9, Revenge of the Sith 8.75, Empire 8.5, Attack of the Clones 8.25, Force Awakens 8.125, Rise of Skywalker 8.0625. Last Jedi is an 8.
Great.
So the only ones we have left, we've done all the trilogies. Now we just gotta do Rogue One and Solo.
Great.
And then we will be able to die.
Right. Well, do you want us on the internet?
Because if you do, you can find us at How Star Wars Is on Twitter and Instagram. Send us an email at agoodpodcast@gmail.com. Yes. Love to see something in that inbox.
Speaking of Twitter and Instagram, thanks to Steven for, I don't know if you saw this or not yet today, Josiah, but for ranking, or for giving us scores on our Jackbox game.
Oh, I didn't see it.
We asked in the episode, like, give your answer to each question and then say which one of us was funnier.
Oh God, I haven't looked at it yet.
So yeah, keep doing tweets and emails and shit with us. And if you're interested, for just $5 a month, you can join us on Patreon. You get access to the Discord channel that, gosh, we have been like silent on lately.
Yeah,
but like
it's been
you
a
can
little
talk
bit
to us if you want. And then of course you also get a weekly bonus episode that's about a half hour long of us like being silly boys. And then every month, we also release a commentary of a different Star Wars film. Like Josiah said, we have 2 more left this calendar year. But because we started the commentaries a little bit late in the year, we will be going well into the new year with those as well, of things like Return of the Jedi and Phantom Menace. So check out Patreon, patreon.com/How Star Wars Is It.
All right, so everyone, that's it, I think. It's about time for the bye-bye, so
I'd
like we
say
always
so.
say, we love you.
We love you.
And may the fourth be with you.
Fourth be with you.
Bye-bye.
Droid is ready.
Droid! I love that guy. Damn, Steven hated my answers. Brutal.
Yeah.
Absolutely brutal.
Got your ass kicked.